Hey, it's Dean DeMarzo here on Longest Solo Ever. I'm here in my brand new studio. We just moved in about a week ago. I'm still getting things unpacked and set up, but I'm so excited to be in here. I can't wait to show you guys around. Real quick, I wanted to do a lesson on augmenting your recorded drum tracks with drum samples, especially one-shots. I just got my hands on the new Otero Drumshotz sample pack. And I wanted to play around with it a little bit and show you guys how I use this in a real studio setting. We're going to be working in Pro Tools today, but these concepts will translate over to whatever DAW you're working in. Whether it's Reaper or Studio One or Cubase, these concepts will work in all of them, and these samples will sound great no matter what you're working with. Also, be sure to check out the description. I've got links to the Otero Drumshotz sample pack by JST, and I've also got a link down there for you to download these tracks I'm working with, my original drum tracks. Obviously, I can't include Otero's samples, but you'll still have my drum tracks to work with. Put your own samples over these, try this out, play around with mixing. I'll also include all the guitar parts I put in here. All the guitars are also processed with JST Toneforge Jason Richardson, which is by far my favorite amp sim on the market. I love that thing. Okay, so we're going to start off by listening to the tracks as I have them now. This is all live drums with some very minimal mixing via some Pro Tools plugins and some JST plugins. And real quick, we're going to take a listen to just the drums soloed. On the kick, we have a light gate, an EQ kind of cutting the mids, boosting the highs, and finally a little bit of JST clip, and just about the same story on the snare minus the EQ. I have bus glue drums on the drum master, just kind of gluing it all together. So as you can hear, it sounds pretty good, but the drums are getting a little bit lost in this mix. There could be a bit more attack to them, I think. So I've set up an additional track, which is just a duplicate of each drum track. We're going to start with the kick. I duplicated it and made it stereo because these one-shot samples are in stereo as well, so I wanted to make use of that. So we've got two kick tracks here now. The top one is our original actual recorded kick track, which we'll be using in the mix. This has that gating and EQ on it that I showed earlier. And here's our dry, unaffected kick track, which we're going to replace with our one-shot samples. So this is the Slay Kick, the dry version from the Otero Drumshotz sample pack from JST. I'm going to mute up this underlying region here so we don't have to worry about hearing any of that original recorded track on here. Now I'm going to use a very important Pro Tools feature here called Tab to Transients. And with that button activated, pressing the Tab key will jump you right to the next transient, the next hit in that region. As you can see here, I'm just tabbing to each transient and pasting this little one-shot sample straight onto it, taking care to make sure it landed right on the hit. And then all I'm doing is trimming out each region so that it extends right up into the next hit, and we can hear how strong that sounds right there. Now I'm pasting in really cut short versions of this sample so that they don't overlap the next hit, and then later lengthening each sample as it goes. You could try to approach this with a triggering program, but I do prefer to do this by hand most of the time, especially with one-shots like this, just so I can get them in just the right place. There's no flams or anything, all nice and clean. So let's hear how this sounds in the mix together. Here's without the kick sample. and width. It clearly makes a huge difference in that attack. Really helps lock it in with those guitar parts. It just sounds really cool. So I'm going to go ahead and fill in the rest of these through the rest of this section of the song. I'll speed this up so I spare you the boredom of watching me do this for about 7 minutes on end. But it really is just a super straightforward process. Just pasting these in and tabbing through as you go. And it's done. So let's listen to the whole track with that. As we're doing this, I'm listening for any weird moments where anything doesn't quite hit on beat with the original kick, but it sounds like we got everything just right. Let's do the same to our snare track. Now, I've got the Dave Otero gut snare, the mixed version, which has some nice reverb to it. You can hear it here. There we go. This nice, big, reverby snare, as compared with this kind of thin, almost piccolo snare sound I've got on the original track. I think this will do a lot to add some power to this hit. So I'm doing the same exact thing, tapping to transient, trimming stuff out so that it hits just right. We get the full length of the sample. Let's listen to this. There's the mix. And I think that's sounding pretty cool. Now here we've got this little drag kind of grace note. I'm not going to put samples on that drag, as it wouldn't sound good with this one shot. That's not what a one shot's for. Now on the other hand, we do have a smaller hit here. Take a listen. That one sticks out to me. I think that does need to get the one shot. So I'm going to paste one on there, and I'm just going to clip gain it down in Pro Tools. Bring the volume of that one hit down slightly so it doesn't stick out as much. Still a bit much. I'm going to bring it down further. That sounds just right. Let's hear that mix. Without. This one landed early. I'm going to fix that. Got to always keep an eye on where exactly the sample's landing. Tab to transient isn't perfect. It can miss it sometimes. I have 3 hits in a row here. I'm probably going to lower the volume of the middle one just a little bit. Let's hear this. I think that actually sounds fine on its own. So one-shots differ from other drum samples in that they're meant to sound huge. They are always at 110% volume. They are not subtle. They are not great for replacing, like, if you've got a quieter drum part going on with real intricate, lots of ghost notes. This is not what this is for. This is for really aggressive, huge tones, and it's amazing for that. You can see I'm just filling in each one of these snares because this is a really straightforward, just 2 and 4 giant hits on the snare drum, and it's working perfectly for that. You can see the snare part did not take as long because there were just not as many snare hits, and they were all just nice, straightforward 2 and 4. Let's listen to what that sounds like. Yeah, it sounded pretty solid. So we have these literal 3 tom hits here in the middle. And we are going to hit those with the Dave Otero Yamaha Birch tom hits. There's only 1 hit on the tom 1 track to replace. Paste that in. And there are quick 2 hits on the floor tom. I'm going to paste it on the second one first, and then grab just the front end of this this sample here, and paste that on. And then we'll do the same thing we did with the other samples, trimming forward and then trimming back. This is going to sound a little silly, a little extreme. We're going to pull it back from here. So let's pull that back in the mix a bit. I'm going to pan these to match their actual mic'd counterparts here so that they can blend nicely. And that still obviously sounds way too loud. I'm actually going to bring the second floor tom hit down a little bit. That sounded pretty good. I'm going to clip gain this hit down just slightly. Yeah, I like the way that's sounding. And I think we're done adding drum samples to this. So let's take a listen to our before and after of our mix. Here's without our one-shots. And with. Yeah, I really like the way that's sounding. Thank you so much for watching. Again, I can't wait to show you guys around my new studio once it's set up, so be sure to stay tuned for that. Please like, comment, and subscribe for more videos like this one. If you have any questions or anything you'd like to see on this channel, please leave that in a comment down below, and I will try to answer your question either in the comments or in a future Q&A video, which I'm working on right now as well. Again, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.